Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to Olympic Park in Heidelberg for this WNPL game between Heidelberg United and the Geelong Galaxy. It's 36 degrees out here in Heidelberg, so I think we will be having some mandatory drinks breaks through the afternoon. It's a big game this afternoon with both teams having gone down last week, but on the plus side, both of them did find the back of the net. The Heidelberg United team this afternoon, in goal we've got Christine Fanua, and then Elizabeth Robers is number 4. Number 5 is Ellie Torre. Number 7, Stephanie Galea. Number 8, Holly Balderston. Our captain today is Melissa Garcia. Number 10 is Sydney Allen. Number 12, Daniela Galuccio. Number 16, Monica Fanua. Number 17, Rebecca Saber. And number 18, Ellen Turner. And on the bench today, number 11, Emma Langley. Number 14, Natasha Rieri. Number 20 is Marina Kiusis. Number 21, Mia Mossman. And number 24, Lisa Fanua. For Geelong this afternoon, they've travelled up the freeway from Geelong, fought off the traffic from the Geelong Air Show, and they're very keen to get things going on the road. Also having a tricky away match next week at Southern. For them today in goal, we've got Emily Kensol. And then number 3 is Christy Merry. Number 2, Imogen Pratt. Number 4, Meg Seishka. Number 6, Dayal Aziz. And number 7, Lulu Al-Hunadi. Number 9 is Kana Oda, last week's goal scorer. Number 10 is Tomoko Fukumaru. Number 17 is Susan Tong. Number 20, Emily Kensol in goal, as mentioned. Number 26, Tegan Visser. And number 27 is Coco Cummins. On the bench is number 8, Emanuela Fierro, and number 19, Nyankor Joseph, and number 43, Sierra Major, and number 46, Ashley Pickett. I'm lucky enough to be joined this afternoon for special comments from Melissa Lordanek. Marissa, welcome to the commentary. What are your thoughts on the importance of at least getting a point on the table in this game?
Thanks for having me today, Tim. I'm really excited about this game. As you say, it's massive. You never want to lose your first 2 games of the season. It just really doesn't set you up for a good season. Yes, there's 27 rounds, but you would much prefer to have some points in the bag heading into the 3rd round. Both of these teams, neither really played awfully last week, so I would argue they're almost unlucky to not come away with at least something from their respective matches, but you can definitely tell that they will be, putting in the hard yards to get at least something from this game.
I think it's also worth noting, Marissa, that sure, neither side got 3 points last week, or a point, but they played Box Hill and Bulleen, and as we saw yesterday, both of those sides are absolutely flying. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your company this afternoon. It's terrific to have you on board for this. And it looks like Geelong will be kicking off to the southern end and getting things started. So Heidelberg are taking over some possession early in the game. That's a good interception and a reasonable clearance up by Imogen Pratt to find one of the Japanese girls, Kana Oda. That's the lady who scored last week, and she's through on goal, and that's just a terrific block. A very early chance away from home for the Geelong Galaxy there, and that's a sign of intent, I think, very early in this match. It was a lovely little passage of play through the middle of the field to create that one-on-one with the keeper, but in all fairness, it was a terrific stop by Christine Fanua. They'll now move out for a throw-in down the right-hand side. Looks like Heidelberg is setting up reasonably flat, but that's a good long throw and a good clearing header and a solid clearance up to the halfway line. But once again, Geelong maintain the possession and continue to press forward, and all the early pressure is coming from Geelong, which I've got to say personally surprises me a little bit, Marissa.
Yes, I would agree with that, honestly, but as you mentioned, it was a great save by Christine Fanua. Last week she was pulling out some massive saves, so to be expected of her to come up big when it's necessary.
So I think it's important now for Heidelberg to take some possession of the ball, but once again there's another easy turnover in the middle. And a terrific little pass in there from Tamako Fukumara. And they've won the first corner of the game. So at this stage, as I say, it's very, very early. It's one-way traffic. And it would be interesting to see here now with this Geelong side, which is sort of reasonably put together with quite a few players who don't know each other. I'm sure they'll have been doing a lot of work on their set pieces. And here's their first chance. We know with the two Japanese players, technically they're very good and would anticipate something strong here. Not a huge amount of movement in the box from either team at this stage. And it's into the near post. And once again, gathered up by Geelong Galaxy. And surprisingly, it looks like Heidelberg's United's best option at this stage is on the counter-attack.
I was going to say, just looking at that corner, there doesn't seem to be a lot of height in this Geelong team, so corners, I can't see them being a very strong avenue to goal. And also we need to talk about the absence of Laura Sporanovic, the former Geelong captain who's now plying her trade in Croatia. She would have been an excellent aerial threat, but unfortunately no longer available.
But the sign of intent is clearly there from Geelong, and that's a terrific shot of once again. A magic save down low to her right from Christine Fanua. She's had a fair bit to do at this early stage, but given a very good account of herself so far. Heidelberg now battling to take some control of the midfield, and really at this stage Geelong have owned everything in the midfield and been passing it through. But here's a good through ball, and here could be the first opportunity for Heidelberg United. We've got in the middle there Elizabeth Robes queuing up for it, but once again the ball lost, and Geelong just looking quicker to the one-on-ones and winning out at this stage. Let's not forget, though, it's 36 degrees, so there's that danger, I think, if Geelong throw the kitchen sink at them at this early stage, could they run out of petrol?
That's definitely a possibility, and, you know, I assume both coaches would have in mind the fact that it has been hot all week and it is hot today, so they would have, you know, tweaked their game plans to take that into effect.
So Heidelberg just settling down a little bit more now in the middle of the park, but Geelong clearly pressing hard, and the danger of that is it is going to create spaces. Oh, and that's a terrific run there on the left wing, and if the cross can get in the middle here, this could well be the first corner of the day for Heidelberg. Indeed it is. Terrific run by Stephanie Galea there, turning inside the Geelong left back, and sure the cross was blocked, but it was a sign of intent. Now let's see if we can get a corner somewhere between the edge of the 6-yard box and the penalty spot and see if a chance can come Heidelberg's way. Oh, and that's a terrific corner, well met with the head, ultimately not threatening, but that looked like a great set piece and little worrying with respect to the amount of space in the Geelong back four as that corner came across. So Heidelberg taking a little more control in the middle of the park now. That being said, Japan, the Japanese player there has won the throw-in. And that was an interesting that the linesman, right in front of his nose, gave a handball against Geelong. I'm not sure whether the referee disagreed or whether it was a case of play on. If it was a case of play on, it was a superb decision because the attack developed nicely for Heidelberg United. Here come the Geelong Galaxy again, but this one looks like it might fizzle out. It's terrific defending there by Ellen Turner, just making it difficult. Just annoying foot, body in the way, and ultimately it's just gone out there for another throw-in. It's been a lively start, I'd say, Marissa. Anything standing out for you at this stage?
Just Geelong's intent. I really didn't expect them to be as dominant as they are at the moment, but they're doing really well. So you would hope that they capitalise on it soon and, you know, sit back then with the heat as a factor.
As you say that with Geelong's intent, the need to capitalise on it. From their attacking corner, Heidelberg again have had a breakaway attack. So at this stage it's setting up that Heidelberg are having to satisfy them with some counter-attacking football. We know they've got the quality though that it only takes one counter-attacking chance for them to get their noses in front. I think it's fair to say as well, Marissa, it's not gusty, but there is a wind in Geelong's favour as well. Here we go again with Galea, and once again a lovely run and attempted cross there. That's a couple of times Stephanie Galea has got down that right wing and made mincemeat of the Geelong left back to get that cross into the box. Now the crosses haven't been that productive, but once again it's a sign that she could be the danger lady today. Both of those forays have resulted in corners. This is another terrific corner. It's a great height, but certainly very, very well claimed by Emily Kensol in the Geelong goal. And here they come again, taking their time and building their attack nicely. And I just feel the Heidelberg defence is growing in confidence. Whether they were concerned about the likes of Oda and Fukumaru, and they're just getting settled now. When you do play a little bit of football and you know you're playing against a good player, once you've been playing on them for 5 or 10 minutes, your confidence actually grows. You realise they're not Lionel Messi. So you suddenly, that confidence grows and it maybe begins to irritate those technically adept players.
Absolutely, and I think the same can be said for the game last week against Bulleen. The Heidelberg defence looked a little bit shaky to begin with, but you really saw that they grew into the match and they were able to contain Bulleen's threats. So I think we're seeing a similar kind of scenario play out, but I think they've adapted a little bit quicker to dealing with the two Japanese players in particular from Geelong.
And I think as well there will be frustration for Geelong at this stage because they have dominated. Sure, we've spoken of the counter-attacks from Heidelberg United, but it has been, you'd give Geelong 8 out of 10 at this stage with no result. They've had a couple of shots on target, both of which Christine Fanua has been more than capable of dealing with. So when does frustration start kicking in? So Heidelberg playing it out. And we can quite clearly hear from here the Geelong coach's tactics and instructions to his team. Hang on a sec. We're just coming down the left wing with Heidelberg United. If we can get a cross in at a reasonable height, this could be a super opportunity. And it was a wonderful cutback, but it just sort of landed on the wrong foot, and that's a good block. And now there's a little bit of panicking in that Geelong defence. Just going back to my comments about the Geelong coach, it was clear when Heidelberg keeper passed it out, he was very much calling for the attacking players to press. So what we've seen in this first 10 or 15 minutes will be no great surprise to the Geelong coach, because he's clearly, every time the Heidelberg defenders have the ball, calling his players on to press them. Once again, risky strategy in 36-degree heat. Heidelberg now coming out along the right flank. Here's the wonderful Stephanie Galea again. And just consistently looks like creating opportunities. And my apologies, that was Ellie Torre, but that was a wonderful foray down the right. Marissa's shaking her head in disdain at me now. But the game's certainly evening up a little bit, and the possession is showing that, with the possession stats now moving to slightly more even. So this will be interesting now whether Christine Fanua goes long. She does. And that's a terrific ball from the keeper, but in that case, Galea was unable to control that, handing possession over again. I feel I've said handing possession over again to Geelong a number of times this afternoon. And here they come again, right through the guts of the Heidelberg midfield, but this time overreached a little bit, and it's created a fantastic attacking opportunity. And that's a wonderful first touch. If Melissa Garcia's got the pace to get past, she's won the ball, and here's a chance for a layback. This looks like it could be a gilt-edged opportunity. Oh, and in this case, Emily Kensol was up to the challenge of clutching and bringing that ball into her chest, Jose Zubizarreta style, and there's no result for Heidelberg United. But though all the stats may argue with this, my early feel is Heidelberg United are going to score a goal soon. Thoughts, Marissa?
That's a wonderful run from Mel Garcia. You know, we saw her pace last weekend against Bulleen, and, you know, the front three for Heidelberg do have a lot of pace. I don't know how much they're going to be able to use that considering the conditions, but she really put on the afterburners there, and it was a good save from Kensol in the end.
And I don't think there's any controversy over that offside decision. In that case, the ball was probably, the run was started just a little bit earlier, and we've got a stoppage in play here. And this actually looks quite concerning. I can't see which player is actually down currently, but where it's concerning is there's a fellow Geelong player who, and also one of the Heidelberg United players immediately ran over to the Geelong player who went down. So it's a good opportunity for our players to get their drinks break. It's very important to keep hydrated on an afternoon like this. Particularly, it's not only is it hot, but that breeze is sapping. And the player, oh, that's fantastic to see the players on her feet. She looks a little disturbed and tentative, but the main thing is she's up and on her feet, being assisted by some of the team management, and I think it looks like quite possibly that might be the end of her afternoon.
I'd have to agree with that. She's looking very ginger as she's walking off. The Geelong subs are warming up as well, so you'd imagine that it might very well be the end of her day.
It looked a reasonably innocuous incident as well. For me, there was no malice or intent. It was just one of those things that happen in football, but let's hope. I mean, they have sort of cold sprays and because of the heat, and they're all taking on lots of water. It might be, you know, because of this drinks break, she's actually got a couple of minutes to settle herself and get back out there. Only time will tell. No, I can confirm there that one of the Geelong substitutes, as Marissa so rightly said, they went off warming up straight away, and one of them has taken off their substitute's bib, so it does look like there will be a substitution in the offing. Yep, so we can confirm that there is a substitution. At this stage, we can't quite see who's coming off. A first half substitution in that circumstance, you will imagine, will just be a like-for-like player. Geelong have got 4 players on the bench. I doubt there's a tactical change being made, so it will probably be a like-for-like substitution. It was Emanuela Fierro is actually coming on and taking the place of Duriel Aziz. Duriel was putting her foot on the ball quite nicely in the middle of the park as a sort of holding midfield role. And Sadly, her afternoon is over, and we wish her all the best because, as we mentioned earlier, they've got another big away match next week. Do you think, Marissa, to see one of your teammates get injured in a manner like that might be unsettling because you've had all the play? You're playing well, Heidelberg just creeping back into it. Will that be a concern or just business as usual? As I say that, there is a break on here for Geelong. I think that was Lulu Al-Hanadi going down the left wing there. And good control, passing it back to Susan Tong. And just taking their time. So do you think that'll be unsettling for Geelong?
I think it absolutely has the potential to, because she didn't look in a right way, and you saw her teammate was right with her there, telling her to breathe, making sure that she was all right. But I think, the leaders in the team need to step up at this point. They've got a good free kick opportunity at the moment, so they need to capitalise on that and kind of get back into the game. Obviously concern for your teammate, but she's in good hands. She'll be all right, and now they've got to use what's available to them.
So here's a terrific opportunity for the Geelong Galaxy. Their set pieces haven't been quite as sharp as Heidelberg so far, but the hand goes up and here's a cross in. Oh, and it's another wonderful stop by Christine Fanua. She's unchallenged at this stage in goal. She's not flustered, confident, and you can see why she won so many plaudits from her performance from last week's game. And slightly more desperation in the way that was passed forward by the Geelong Galaxy. It gives time for Ellen Turner to mop up there at left back, and we're moving it across to the middle of the park. Ellie Torre was there screaming for it, and now she's got it. And unfortunately, in that case, that's just sort of run out of play over there on the right flank. Heidelberg have been sort of evenly distributing. Both corners have come down the right flank. Both of the cutback opportunities have come down the left flank. So they're looking nicely balanced at the moment. And there seems to be a hint of desperation about Geelong's forward play now. They're sort of kicking it over the top as if they were Cambridge United in 1994, hoping that someone can get on the end of it. And there's no Dion Dublin there at this stage. So here come Heidelberg United, once again manufacturing a break, taking it up through the middle. Nice solid clearance from Geelong, but I feel there's going to be more pressure coming. Lovely control there. And Ellen Turner again from that left-back position has got the through ball. Oh, and that was Stephanie Galea, managed to get in there behind the defence. For me, she's the one causing the problems. We've seen that happen 3 times. We've seen Ellie Torre go down that right-hand side. There seems to be a little bit of space over there on that right wing for Heidelberg United.
Yeah, absolutely. And those two, Torre and Galea, seemed to combine really well last week as well. And it's good to see Galea, really intelligent run in behind the defenders. She's using her pace, and they do look the more likely to score at the moment, not for, I suppose, quantity of chances, but quality of chances and the way in which they're actually playing.
And that's sort of further being exacerbated by the fact that Geelong moving forward looked very well organised in that first 10 minutes. And there's an element of hit and hope at the moment, with all due respect to the Geelong side. I think the coach will need to get them back to what they were doing that worked so well prior to that injury earlier in the first half. Once again, here's the opportunity down the left side. In that case, Elizabeth Roberts has just sort of overrun it a little bit and in desperation cut it back. But unfortunately for Heidelberg United, given away the throw-in. So Geelong will have a chance to build from the back, and it's almost the opposite now, because you see Heidelberg United are pressing the Geelong back 4 as soon as they're trying to do something, and it's causing these errors. And as it was in the first 10 minutes, everything around the halfway line Heidelberg were doing was coughing up possession, and now it's going the other way. Now that looks like a nasty knock there to Holly Balderston. She is in some pain. She is off the park, but she does need some attention. Nice to see that it was with a challenge. Was that I couldn't quite see who the Geelong player was, but once again that was just good, strong, hard, committed football by both players. It was a 50-50 ball, and they both wanted to win it. So what do you think Geelong need to do here, Marissa, to sort of get back in the game? You know, you raised the very salient point earlier. They've not had a return on their investment after the first 10 minutes, and maybe they should have done. What do they do?
Well, I suppose they've got this time now while Balderston is down to kind of just regroup, chat, you know, talk about the things they talked about pre-game, because obviously they worked for the opening 10-15 minutes. So just they need to regroup. They need to, we know what to do. We were doing it. We just need to get back to those basics. We knew who to pass to, where to go. We had the right ideas. We just need to get back to that. It's really more a mental thing, I would suggest, because they had it right. So I can see them, they have the opportunity to get back to what they were doing, and I think they can do it. The leaders need to step up in the team and make sure that everyone knows, you know, we're not out of this yet, we're not down, there's still heaps of time, we can get this back in our favour.
So Holly Balderston has gone down again, still holding that ankle. Interestingly, the Heidelberg United subs aren't warming up. So it might be just a bit of a knock, very sore, get some magic spray on it. I know that there has been. I know that was Marissa Garcia just checking on the welfare of her teammate as the captain and, you know, fulfilling that leadership role. Holly certainly seems to be getting ready to come back on the pitch. Interesting that the play was delayed with the injured player being off the park. As a rule, I would have thought that the play could have continued there, but I suppose with such a hot day, the more refreshment breaks, the better. So it's time now for Geelong to start getting hold of the ball, and once again they've coughed up possession in the middle of the park, but in this case they've won it back. And the Heidelberg United look like the killer bees swarming around every Geelong player in their yellow and black. The killer bees. And they're just winning the possession. They're forcing errors. And once again, we can see from here, Ellen Turner's got the ball for a throw-in from the left-back position. Oh, and Holly went in there, but Phil wasn't as hard into her 50-50 challenge then, which is perfectly understandable, after a nasty knock. From what I saw of the knock, it was square on the ankle bone, and those ones, though they don't do any real damage, they're real stingers. So understandable if she was a little tentative on that 50-50. So it's got a little bit scrappy in the middle of the park now, with both teams coughing up possession. But that's created an opportunity for Geelong here. And once again, Christina Fanua, her positioning is terrific, isn't it? That's where, you know, she makes these wonderful saves, but it's rarely diving all over the shop because she knows where the attacking player is going to put the ball. Here is Holly Balderston. It goes to put it across. It's got a deflection from the defender. Garcia just unluckily missed out. Coco Cummins there, the number 27. I liked that play because she kept challenging. She lost the ball twice, but kept going for it. And ultimately, it almost bounced into her path. Now, bearing in mind, I think it was Coco who had the 50-50 with Holly Balderston. And as we discussed before the game, the best name on all of the team sheets today, Coco Cummins. I'm positive it is something from the Marvel Universe, so terrific to be commentating Coco Cummins at this early stage of her career. Yeah, she just kept going and going. Here's an opportunity, nicely collected by Kensole, the Geelong Galaxy defender, who takes the time to look up and spots that Coco's in a little bit of space. She looks like she's running out of petrol a little bit, but understandable. As we've said, it's a very hot day. And given that first 10 minutes, there was a lot of running down both flanks trying to open up Heidelberg United. And in this case, Coco's won another free kick. So she's really come into the game nicely over the course of the last 10 minutes and making a difference. So Fukumaru has taken all of Geelong's free kicks at this stage from this sort of range. She'll turn around shortly, put her right hand up as she runs in, and hopefully get it somewhere around shoulder height, somewhere around the penalty area to attract one of the runs. If you look there, a couple of the Geelong players do have a bit of height. No right hand up this time, but it's a terrific ball in, and it just needed the faintest of touches, and it just escaped the Galaxy players who were just running in, and it's as if three of them timed their runs better than all the Heidelberg defenders. And it only needed one of them just to get a little snick on it. Snicko. A little hot spot there, and I think it might have been 1-0 to the away team.
I was going to say, yes, the runs by the Geelong players were excellent, Coco Cummins among them, but yeah, just a little bit too much on it. It's run past all of them, but I like that type of set-piece situation from Geelong rather than going for the higher ball. I like it at that level. Exactly.
Yeah, that flatter delivery is working well. I think the first corner we saw from Fukumaru was disappointing and easily cleared, but the couple of free kicks have looked more dangerous. Once again, in the middle of the field, being bossed a little bit by Heidelberg United. But that's a lot of work for Garcia to do. The idea of the through ball is always going to be tricky against three defenders who are set up for it and a lone forward who's a yard behind them. It's going to make it a little bit tricky for her to get onto that with any great effect. But as we know, Garcia is the captain and a very good footballer, and she can maximise those opportunities. But I think maybe Heidelberg just take a little breath and start building the play, go back to their plans. They're the ones who are creating clear opportunities in open play, whereas Geelong have had a couple of opportunities from nice set pieces. Once again, the middle of the park, bossed by Heidelberg United. But the transition from holding the ball in midfield to creating an attacking opportunity wasn't there in this case. So the throw in there from Manuela Fierro, who's given a good account of herself since she came on, because as a substitute you don't expect to be on the park in the first 15 or 20 minutes, and that can unsettle you. Subconsciously you may be expecting the 55th or the 60th minute as tradition, but she's come on and just slotted in there quite nicely. Geelong trying to build an attack carefully here. It's almost watching a rugby union game of metres being gained at the moment, because there hasn't been the great through balls in the last 10 minutes that maybe we saw in the first 20-25 minutes of the match. Once again, Geelong have picked it up in the middle of the park. There's Kana Oda winning it, and Lulu Al-Hanadi has then coughed it up in this case with Sydney Allen just taking control, who seems to be appearing in midfield quite well. And here's another cutback opportunity for Heidelberg United, but Sally just couldn't quite get the pace on it, and safely collected by Emily Kensal. Here's Coco again, Coco Cummins coming down the right flank. Oh, looking to pick out Oda. There was a little nudge in the back there. We certainly heard the contact from here, but it's been a free kick, and we're a lot further from the play than the assistant referee, so I think we'll take his word for it. And here they come again, building nicely up the left wing. Ellen Turner has looked good. She's been one of the Heidelberg defenders who have negated this technical Galaxy attack. And there's the substitute, Manuela Fierro, putting on the pressure that ultimately led to the turnover of possession. Once again, supporting what she said as going in. There's a little bit of... I think that just having a little chat there between one of the Heidelberg players and Oda. I think that was between Daniela Galluccio and Oda. They were just comparing notes and their thoughts for the Matildas game this coming Wednesday. Which, by the way, is going to be a cracker, isn't it? It's going to be... We're so treated here to have the wonderful Matildas, getting past everything they've been through over the course of the last few weeks. Fundamentally, they're professionals and they're there to get the job done. And they are going to get the job done. And it's very exciting how far they might go in the upcoming World Cup, and ultimately a destination for a lot of these players on this pitch, extrapolating their careers a number of years. It's got to be the goal for any footballer who's got to this level. There's the cross came in, and I think that was Susan Tong there, got to it first and managed to get it out for a throw-in, which is no mean feat from there, because it's so easy just to go safety and think corner. As my coach used to say, when I used to kick it out for a corner, you could have written your name on that, Buchanan, before you had to, and still got it out for a throw-in. So she did well there. She was aware enough that there was no danger in forcing the throw-in, and it's ultimately broken down the attack, and possession is returned to Geelong. As we go into the drinks break, Marissa, what are your thoughts compared to the match last week?
As I say, Heidelberg seems to be kind of deploying the same sort of tactics. So the likes of Galea, Garcia, Balderston and Sydney Allen seem to be working with counter-attacking in mind and using their pace and getting in behind the defence. I think also Heidelberg has realised that they can't allow Fukumaru and Oda to have space in the midfield, and I think they have figured out that they need to put the pressure on the two Japanese girls in particular, and they need to kind of restrict the space so that they can't get out of the midfield. And we've seen that in the sense that there's been a lot more turnovers, it's been a lot scrappier in the middle of the park, and I think that's Heidelberg just putting on the pressure and realising that they can't allow the two Japanese internationals to have any sort of space in the middle of the park. And I think it has been effective thus far, because, as we've said multiple times during the broadcast, the opening 10-15 minutes, those two had space and Geelong looked threatening. Heidelberg figured it out, they've made the little adjustment, and now they seem to be the ones that look more likely, and Geelong really are needing to find other avenues to kind of look threatening, and that has come through mainly set-piece situations. So I think it's good tactical awareness from Heidelberg to figure that out, and I reckon still they look the more likely to find a lead in this match.
So no goals so far, but for mine it's been an interesting and enjoyable game. Numerous shots on target. We saw that terrific free kick put in the box by Fukumaru in the last 5 minutes there, which, as we said, just needed the tiniest of touches from someone. We've seen 2 or 3 terrific cutbacks. We've seen Garcia really worrying the Geelong defenders. We've also seen Galea down the right worrying them. Ellie Torre coming into the game more and more. It's probably fair at a 0-0. I think it'd be fairer as a 1-1. No one deserves 3 points at this stage, but no one deserves nothing. And here's Coco again, bustled off the ball by Rebecca Saber, who's just growing in confidence and strength there. And really controlling that midfield. She's almost playing in front of a back three at the moment, with a couple of wing backs moving up. But she's just a wall for them. You know, that Heidelberg United have got these 2 terrific assets in Sabre blocking out the play, and if somehow Sabre doesn't, that's fine. How are you going to beat Christine Fanua? You know, so you can see them growing in confidence because they do look so well set up with those 2 controlling it. Here they come again down the right wing, and unfortunately for Heidelberg United, that one didn't quite get through. But Sabre again making herself known in that defensive midfield role, and this one has come through to the right. But in this scenario, yes, there was a body check there. It looked as if it was sort of interfering with Galea's run. Whether she would have got to it is 50-50, but the fact of the matter is she had sort of put it past the defending the defending left back, and here's an opportunity, and it's a goal. It's an absolute ripper. The old adage, you put a ball in head height between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box and see what happens. Well, that's what happens. You get a goal. What a terrific header. It was brave because she had her eye on the ball. She couldn't see whether a centre-half was going to come and collect her. It was beautifully headed down, so it didn't bounce off the top of her head. It's a goal for Heidelberg United, and to be fair, no less than they deserve.
Absolutely. It was an excellent ball in and a really wonderful diving header from Melissa Garcia. She was the provider last weekend for Holly Balderston, so now she's on the score sheet, and honestly, I think she's deserved it for the amount of endeavour and effort she's put in this opening half.
She has, you've mentioned leadership a couple of times through this first half, and she has been a leader, where, you know, if heads have dropped, or in that early stage she was rallying the troops. She was the one who went on a couple of individual runs and hasn't stopped putting in 36-degree heat, I might add. So a well-deserved scorer for Heidelberg United, and might be tough from Geelong here because I think Heidelberg might just grow in confidence. The width they're finding down that right flank has opened up Geelong a couple of times. Once again, that was a ball in from the right that the goal came from. And Sydney Allen there just being pushed back a little bit, but I feel she was in control of the situation quite well. Her partner in crime there in the middle, Rebecca Saber, had an eye on the situation, was ready to come across if things went awry, which in this case they didn't. So Heidelberg United will be trying to come up this right flank again. That's Ellie Torre again. Is she almost playing a right wing back, would you say, Ellie Torre? Combining beautifully with Gallia. No surprise that terrific goal came down the right wing. But I think it will be foolhardy to write Geelong off because, as we know, technically Oda, who scored last week, Fukumaru, she's shown what she can do with the ball. So here we go again down the right flank. And is that Balderston? Oh, and great courage there from Balderston to throw herself at that ball after that nasty knock she had earlier in the first half. And this very speculative effort there from Galea. But sometimes as a coach you see a speculative effort such as that, you don't mind it too much because it means, hang on, the players are getting a bit of confidence here. They want to have a go. You don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle. So they've stopped playing with that fear and create openings, and it could be difficult for Geelong. But as we say, technically very good players on their list. Here's Coco. Can she get the ball through? Oh, just needed that sliding ball through. There was a bit of space there. And who'd have thought Melissa Garcia sprinting over, being the one to grab the ball and make the throw to create another attacking play. And Balderston, oh, that was the right idea, but a big left boot stuck out there by Suzanne Tong to clear it. Now the cross in from the right, and Garcia was there again, but safely taken by Ken Sol. And goes for the optimistic hoof up the park. Oh, what was in that magic spray they sprayed on Holly Balderston's ankle there? Because she's not stopped running since that. She's just strong and courageous. Sydney Allen now creating an opportunity into the box. Garcia's waiting in the middle. Galea was waiting just behind that, but it was blocked out. But wonderful creativity from Sydney Allen. And once again, it's Geelong do have an opportunity, but obviously clearly not played at there by Ella Torre. So no back pass in effect. And Christine Fanua starts the play-off again. There's a reasonably optimistic ball by Rebecca Saber, but, it's the Duracell bunny, Holly Golderston, just keeps going and going and managed to get to it. Terrific effort and commitment being seen across the park by Heidelberg United at this stage.
We've talked a lot about the strength of the right-hand flank. Oh, Garcia scores a second with a fantastic finish past Kensal. Couldn't do much about it, and that's another well-deserved reward for the Heidelberg co-captain.
So if you're just tuning in, that's Heidelberg United 2, Geelong Galaxy 0. And that goal has come from hard work. We've seen Galea, we've seen Garcia, we've seen Balderston, Sydney Allen chasing down balls and creating that opportunity. We've got 6 minutes of time on for stoppages. We did have those 2 injuries plus 3 drinks breaks, so that doesn't sound unreasonable. So, we'll be running a little bit late, but that's all the more for us to enjoy, isn't it? What a treat, getting us 6 bonus minutes at the end of the first half. You don't get that every day. So Fanua takes her time, looks up, passes it out there to Ellen Turner. And here's Elizabeth Robers taking control. Another wonderful through ball by Sydney Allen. And here's Ellen Turner. speculative shot has bounced back to Heidelberg United's favour. Elizabeth Rober's there in making the hard challenge. And booted to safety by the Geelong Galaxy. Mopped up again and putting the pressure back on straight away. Finding Galea, who I think the Geelong players would be tired of watching. Finding Galea, she took her time, passed it back, created another attack. I think Geelong will be hoping they get in at 2-0 down. Because it's one-way traffic at the moment. There's Stephanie Galea again creating down that right flank. Rebecca Saber battling hard again, winning the ball. It's a throw into the Geelong Galaxy. They need to reset. Galaxy need half-time. They need to reset, and they need to come up with a strategy. If they could go back to what they did in the first 10 minutes, but in the second half, it's hot and into the wind, they need a plan B. Or maybe they're on about plan F by now. And here's Sydney Allen again, orchestrating things from midfield, just naturally creating time. There wasn't the opportunity to move forward at that stage, and it's passed back. So Holly Balderston again causing trouble there, just harrying, pressing, hoping the ball bounces loose. It didn't in that occasion, but there have been numerous times that it has so far. Once again, mopped up by Rebecca Saber there. Mopping up nicely there, Monica Fanua, who we've not really mentioned today, but maybe haven't needed to, because she's not really been put under a lot of pressure. There's that lady, Gallia again, causing trouble, causing another attacking, bring about another attacking throw for Heidelberg United. Elizabeth Robers. Oh, it's over the bar, but you're 2-0 up, and they're growing in confidence. She saw the space in front of her, and once again, had a dig, and got no qualms with that whatsoever. They're at this stage, they could roll the dice. Geelong don't look like scoring in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Have a crack, going at 3-0. And start working out what you're putting on the barbie later. It's almost done at 3-0, isn't it? And that's where the next couple of minutes are actually even more dangerous for Geelong. There's an offside call on the far left wing that the referee has acknowledged. So this will be Heidelberg United's indirect free kick, and this will almost be it for the first half. What do you think, Marissa?
I think it's been a really solid performance from Heidelberg. A bit, not shaky, but, not a great start, or more the fact that Geelong had such an excellent start in those opening 10-15 minutes. But Heidelberg settled really well into the game, figured out what they needed to do, and then, managed to find the just rewards via Melissa Garcia with her double. So I think Heidelberg look really strong. I can't see them, all of a sudden capitulating during the halftime break, and I think it might be much of the same for the second half. But we'll see if Geelong can turn it around.
So Geelong endeavouring, holding some possession, and oh, that must be a relief for any Geelong supporters, for the Geelong players, for the city of Greater Geelong in general, for anyone who works at Avalon Airport, everybody down that way, surfers down the coast. We're going on a half-time break now. Put the kettle on. Yeah, thanks, mate. Just brew on through that. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, viewers on the stream, on YouTube, on Facebook. It's Heidelberg United 2, the Geelong Galaxy 0 in hot and steamy conditions out here at Olympic Park in Heidelberg. It's an overcast afternoon, so I think the ball will be moving in the air a little bit. And Heidelberg have a two-goal lead at this stage of the match. They're now coming out with the wind behind them, both figuratively and literally. And I'm no predictor, but gee whiz, Geelong need to find something to stop this onslaught and slow things down if they're any chance of getting back in the game whatsoever. I'm joined here today by Marissa. Marissa Ladornak, who's a journalist with the women's game. Such a treat to have her alongside me for commentary today. Marissa, what happens in this second half?
I hope, for the sake of the contest, that Geelong can pull out some of the football they were producing in the opening 10-15 minutes of that first half. But something tells me that Heidelberg is going to continue on their merry way and really continue to heap the pressure on Geelong and definitely add to this scoreline. It's really interesting looking at some of the halftime stats. You know, total shots, Heidelberg had 9 to Geelong's 4, then shots on target, Heidelberg had 6 to Geelong's 4. So they really have been, putting the pressure on and, finding their way into the box. Another really interesting thing from Heidelberg's perspective is last week, they were just racking up the offsides, haven't managed to have one offside so far today. So that's a positive sign for them.
So they're off in the second half. Heidelberg now attacking the south end. That's to the right-hand side of your screens. As our wonderful videographer captures all of the action for us, doing a wonderful job for us today. And it's back where we were. Heidelberg with an attack, but Geelong more calmly closing that one down, but they've coughed up possession again in the middle of the park. Here's Sydney Allen again, creating in the middle of the park. But that one was a little bit too much with Suzanne Tong, tidying up, but one back again by Sydney Allen. Garcia passing it back there to Ali Torre. Same as the first half, threatening down the right-hand wing already. The interchange play between Torre, Garcia, Allen and Galea down this right-hand side has been terrific, hasn't it? And it's opening up Geelong time and again. Standing off a little bit there from Geelong coming out with possession, but Geelong have again provided Heidelberg United with another opportunity to move forward and further consolidate this lead. Oh, and that's terrific pressure. Has created a chance for Sydney Allen. She's been at one player. Oh, and it's just deflected wide. I feel Kensol may have just been stood there with her hands on the hips watching that one fly into the top corner if it hadn't taken that deflection. And now Heidelberg United have the first corner of the second half. We see Sydney Allen walking over as the set-piece specialist from this side of the pitch. Heidelberg setting up reasonably deep with the Geelong defenders sort of marking the 6-yard box at the moment, which is an interesting tactic. We'll know the runs will come in. There's Garcia, predictably lets it go, and Geelong have cleared it, but only as far as not even the halfway line. But Geelong have captured some possession, but that one's just run away from Fukumaru, and Heidelberg again can start building. Now Monica Fanua just taking her time on the ball, head up, looking at her options, found Sydney Allen in heaps of space, and Ellie Torre there winning the ball down that right-hand side, and that's a very strong challenge by Monica Fanua. Brave, picks herself up and gets back to repel the next attack while her teammates move forwards. In the middle of the park there, Elizabeth Robers finds again Sydney Allen. She's everywhere now. And here's Galea, picks it up on the right wing. Tong is doing her best to hassle and harry her, but Galea's got inside her and puts in the cross, but cleared by the Geelong players. Here's Coco Cummins, finding herself a little bit deep. Galea winning the ball. Here's a cross to find Garcia. Oh, I thought it was a hat trick. Our good friends in the Heidelberg United commentary team were calling it, but I think it didn't cross the line. So it's still only 2-0. It's just a brace to Garcia, but I feel there's more to come. Fill your boots, Garcia. Heidelberg taking their time to set up again, and this is the patience they're cobbling out chances. The start of this half, the Galaxy back four looked like they were getting back in control, but a clumsy challenge there, nothing more than clumsy from Elizabeth Robers, means Geelong have the chance to take a breath, maybe get this back four talking to each other, and see if they can get themselves organised and start picking up these runs of the likes of Galea and Garcia. Because as long as they don't, scoring opportunities are going to come. Marissa had something of great value to say there, but as she was about to speak, attacked by a fly. I think she's okay now, though, which is quite a relief. Here comes Galea again, trying to find Garcia. There's a bit of a ricochet, and it's fallen to Garcia. And isn't it funny how you keep running and running, the ball starts falling to you? It's no great coincidence, is it? They run over Galea with the quick throw again, finds Torre. How well have those two combined? That was Garcia. And Torre again, putting it across the middle of the park, picking out Rebecca Saber, who in this case has had a bit of a ping. Nothing beyond the capabilities of Ken Sol to mop up. Susan Tong is making a bit of a run up the left wing, and here she comes. That's a wonderful turn and a big nudge in the back from Galea. And even though Galea's got those silky feet and moves well, she's not afraid to put her body on the line as well. So she's a real asset to this team, not just going forward, but just slowing down an attack to give her the players behind her time to get themselves organised.
I was going to say, and it's, really good to see that she can put in those defensive efforts so that, the combination between her and Ellie Torre down this right wing, it's a very 50-50 kind of partnership where, Torre can push forward and Galea can help with the defensive efforts. So, Heidelberg have been exploiting that right wing all day and it's been to great effect. But then I suppose the other point is the left wing for Heidelberg, there's no slouches on that side either. Holly Balderston, we saw, she had the knock early in the first half, but she picked herself up and was insane. So it's really good to see that they've got both wings that they can utilise. And looks like we've got a sub here.
Yeah, I suppose Geelong have to make a change. It's Ashley Pickett coming off, replacing Tegan Visser. So that's a defender, I think maybe for a midfielder. So maybe Geelong just changing their shape a little bit to see if they can just change the shape of the game. They need the game to change completely for them to get back into it at this stage, and it doesn't look like doing so. That being said, more courage like that from Oda, one of the Japanese players, will create some opportunities. And here she is again. That's two hard 50-50s she's won there. So she's not giving up the ghost. You know, she's here to play. And it's actually created an opportunity, and that is, coincidentally, the first sort of change in shape of the game we've seen in the second half. And here she goes again, Oda, the goal scorer from last week. She's working tirelessly. And here's Garcia, the captain marvel of this Heidelberg United. And here they swarm again. They're swarming, and here's Sydney Allen getting further and further forward. She's been at 1, she's been at 2. Here it is. Oh, what a save. A terrific save by Kensol. Sydney Allen deserves something out of this game. She's really come into it from about the 20-minute mark. She's popping up everywhere. She's creative. She's picking out players. What an asset she's been today. And there's Garcia bringing around the ball. Great control. You know, and that's where it's important to get the basics right. Just simple control creates opportunities, creates possession percentage, and puts you in the best possible situation in the overall game. And it can almost become a bit demoralising for the opposition, because when you do all those 1% as well, and there aren't the errors, well, how does a side 2-0 down going into the wind get back into the game? It becomes really tricky. Here's Oda again. Once again, goes past a player, growing in confidence in this last 5 minutes. But if anyone there to support her, that's Lulu Al-Hanadi, puts it out, and here is Christy Merry, who was offside as it turns out. Found herself in a lot of space. I'm almost surprised at the space she had, because Heidelberg United have been so well organised at the back. It was, almost a surprising situation there for Christy Merry, which she didn't maximise. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because she was clearly offside, but as a confidence booster, she would have liked to have done a little bit better in that situation. Sydney Allen taking control again in the middle of the park, and that's the boot forward to Garcia. Picked up over on that left flank, and Garcia coming back and helping out. Ellen Turner there on the left, combining nicely with Garcia, only to have an offside, which you pointed out earlier. Heidelberg United haven't been caught offside quite as prolifically as they were last week, but there is one to the tally. So Galaxy build from the back third of the pitch, looking for runs, for energy, for space, and it's a through ball in optimism more than anything, but it's created the corner once again by Oda's hard terrier-like work. Just snapping away and trying to get a foot in, and created a corner. So once again, and no great surprise to see Fukumaru going over for the set piece. I think she's taken all corners and free kicks, so that's obviously a strategy, one that hasn't worked as yet. That's a better corner though, that's at a good height, but comfortably mopped up by Heidelberg United, and Galaxy having to run back full tilt just to maintain some control. Beautifully done there by Imogen Pratt to take control and maintain the possession for Galaxy. She's obviously found herself out of position because of the corner, but chase back hard and maintain the Galaxy possession, meaning they are in a position to maybe do something, which sadly that one has gone out of play. And it will be a Heidelberg United throw-in here on the west stand. The wind really picking up and blowing through our commentary box here now. A little push in the back there on Garcia, meaning Heidelberg United have a free kick. 10 metres inside the half they're attacking. it'll be interesting to see who does take this. At this stage, it looks like Ellie Torre stood over the ball. No, it is Sydney Allen again, and rightly so. Her distribution's just been terrific. It's like watching Jan Molby in his prime, but without the car stealing. So here it goes. Oh, and that's just flown through. It's a terrific ball, but no one could quite get on the end of that. I think the wind maybe took it a little bit. It could have been 3, and Garcia desperately looking for a hat trick. I think she can smell the triple in the air. And with the distribution of the Heidelberg United midfield, there's an opportunity that she will certainly have another opportunity at getting that hat trick. I've no doubt at this stage. They're just growing in confidence, aren't they? And what a big result this would be for Heidelberg United. Oh! And that's just gone wide. It was nearly 3-0. What does this mean for Geelong? They go away to Southern, I think, next week. Heidelberg are at home against Bayside, which will be a good game. Away at Southern for Geelong. What's the feeling in the camp if it stays like this, or, as may well happen, it gets somewhat worse?
Yeah, that one's going to be really interesting because if my memory serves me correctly, Southern hasn't had the greatest of starts to the season either, so this could very well be a battle of the battlers. So really interesting to see how they kind of regroup next week. We've got Sydney Allen on the ball here down on the right. And a turnover there. And just quickly, Heidelberg had a substitution. Lisa Fanua is on for Daniela Galuccio. So all 3 Fanuas are on the park, and all 3 are kind of central defensive plus goalkeepery. So very interesting to see all 3 Fanuas on the pitch for Heidelberg.
Is there a collective noun for Fanuas? A defensive Fanuas? I don't, like a parliament of ours. There's I like a triumvirate of Fanuas. Good to see them all out there together this afternoon. Great launching pad this for Heidelberg United as well. As I said previously, they're at home against Bayside next week. That's a game they're capable of winning and putting a couple together and really challenging the top half of the league. We go to a drinks break here. I hope you're enjoying our coverage, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Please feel free to leave us a comment as long as it's nice. If you have anything unpleasant to say, Marissa will be very offended because clearly it wouldn't be aimed at me. So anyway, the guys are having the teams are having some refreshment. I've got to say the referee's had a pretty good game in that he's been conspicuous by his absence. You often at this level can see referees who become involved too much, but I think he's made the right calls. There was the call in that first half where the linesman called a handball. I firmly believe the referee played the advantage and it resulted in a good Heidelberg attack, so it was the right decision. So a young referee on the up here, who I think he's having a terrific game. And it's great to see we have all, officials, assistant referees, referees taking charge of these WNPL games. whose job it is to referee, you know, who run the line, who are referees. So as these players do move up the ranks to whatever level they might achieve, they get used to playing in that environment. So we are very very grateful for these individuals who do enter the refereeing and assistant refereeing ranks. 2-0 up midway through this second half. Heidelberg United have had plenty of opportunities in this second half. I think they've got more to come. It's going to get harder and harder for Geelong. They've defended for an hour now. They threw the kitchen sink at them, as we said. You know, it was hi-ho silver away for Geelong in the first 10 minutes with no results. So they're going to be getting weary. Heidelberg have got the wind. Heidelberg have got the lead. But most importantly, at this stage, Heidelberg have got the class. Marissa?
I'd have to agree with that. And the thing with Geelong is I feel like they're going to need something either special or something from Heidelberg in order to get themselves back into this game. I can't see them almost... or it's going to take a really special thing for them to get back into this game off their own boot almost. I feel like a Heidelberg mistake is the best way that they're going to get back into this. Or again, the set pieces have been a really good avenue for them all day. But yeah, I can't see Heidelberg slowing down at all, even despite the conditions. I really feel like they've maintained that intensity and they've maintained that level, and they look the goods. And
if Geelong's best opportunity is through an error, I'm not sure we'll see that, because Heidelberg have been so well organised. Even there, that was Fanua, wasn't it? One of the triumvirate was clearly outpaced by her opponent, but really dug deep, got to the ball first, and going back to what we were saying earlier, found time to get it out for a throw-in. Very easy to give away the corner there, but no, let's make it a soft possession. It's a throw-in. So, well, good organisation, good commitment, and going back to the 1%ers, just doing the really basic stuff well, and it just becomes demoralising. There's Christy Merry, just creating a little bit, a strong 50-50 and mopped up nicely. There's Ella Torre. How much of the park she covered this afternoon? She's just been back and forth up this right flank. It's just been terrific to see. And the left wing getting in on the action now. In that case, couldn't quite find Turner. Balderston. The intent was certainly there, and it almost feels that Heidelberg have such confidence. They're almost trying things. You know, the distribution, they're playing it side to side across the park. They're picking out every player. They're not going, you know, we know Sydney Allen's been remarkably creative, but they're not just seeing Sydney as the go-to player. Everyone's, creating. Everyone's getting involved. Each of the players are looking for each other, and they look a really unified team at this stage. And nicely done there by Christine, just eating up the clock a little bit. Going long, looking for Garcia. And Garcia putting on the pressure again, runs into the keeper, forces Kensol to clear, but nicely done, with all due respect to Kensol there. She took her time and wasn't put off by the attacking firebomb Garcia, who was running at her full tilt. Here's Monica Fanua, one of the triumvirate. Finds Galea, who speculatively tries to flick it over an opponent's head. And Alatorre has lost out to Suzanne Tong, who unfortunately that time didn't take the time to look up and pick a target. It was a case of, if I kick it down there, there might be one of my teammates. And at this stage, 2-0 down, I'm afraid that might not be a winning strategy. Heidelberg United again, holding the ball, passing it round. It sounds like we're being harsh on Geelong, and I don't mean to be, but I just think Heidelberg have been absolutely outstanding. I don't think Geelong have been poor at all. And they showed what they could do in that first 15 minutes. So really not meaning to be harsh on the Geelong side, but they've just come up against a unit that is playing very, very well together. Pluses for Geelong for you at this stage, Marissa?
At the moment, I think Suzanne Tong, I thought she's been really good, and she's had to deal with a lot considering just the number of attacks from from Heidelberg. So I think she's been a real positive. I like what Christy Mary has offered so far this second half. Ooh. And that was a nice shot there from Rebecca Saber, but Ken's Hole collects cleanly. So for me, Tonga I think has been a positive. Christy Mary rather has been pretty good so far this second half, and I think they haven't dropped their heads, which is a positive, because you can let a 2-0 lead kind of destroy you completely, or you can, still fight for every ball, still try and make something of the game. And I think that they have done that so far, and I think that is a positive and something that they should continue to do.
I'd add to that in the first half, I thought Coco Cummins was good, and in this second half, we've really seen last week's goal scorer, Kana Oda, chase, which has been good. So it's not all negatives for the Geelong Galaxy. They've just come up against a side playing very, very well today, who just look really well organised. Here's Sydney Allen again, straight at Kensal that time. But again, here's with the setup. Geelong are bringing it out. But look at the space for some of the Heidelberg players if the ball should come loose. At that point, there was no one within 5 yards of Sydney Allen. There was no one within 5 yards of Rebecca Saber. So there's a little too much space there, I feel. But I'm commentating and I'm getting a bit weary and tired. So I don't think you can blame anyone for not quite covering as much ground as they were an hour ago. Ball nicely controlled there by Tegan Visser, passing it back, and Geelong again starting to try and build something. Sydney Allen, though, has collected it, and here's Holly Balderston pushing out left. Garcia now on the left wing. The three are interchanging beautifully, and that was a somewhat speculative shot from Garcia, not a million miles away. Maybe better options in the middle that time, but once again, all putts left short of the hole don't go in it, so why not have a go at it? So Geelong just trying to keep their shape and start building something. I said earlier in the match I felt Geelong deserved a goal, and I still say that. So I hope they do get something out of the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I don't think they're going to go on and get a point out of the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do trouble the scorers, because I think they deserve to. But Heidelberg are just so well organised. Again, just mopping up. We've got another substitution here for the Geelong Galaxy. And it's Sierra Major. Is it? Coming on for Suzanne Tong. And also Stephanie Galea coming off. She's put in a good shift. She can be very proud of her outcome today, to be replaced by Emma Langley. So Geelong patiently building from the back, but Heidelberg frustrating them at this stage. It's Heidelberg 2, Geelong Galaxy 0 at this stage. The game just sort of slowing down a little bit, which is no great surprise. There's almost a bit of a melee there in the middle, but again, mopped up by Heidelberg United. And there's Garcia, just as the makeshift left back. Where doesn't she play? And Holly Balderston there, maybe a little assertive in her challenge for the ball, but why not if that had broken free? Clearly, Emma Langley looked like she had a bit of space there, who's just come on with big shoes to fill, Stephanie Galea. But a great opportunity for Langley to get a bit of a run, fresh legs, get some confidence. Here's Holly Balderston now in the middle, challenging for the ball. And it's a Geelong throw-in. And this is better by Lulu Al-Hamadi with the cutback, but no, it's sadly trickled over the line, and it will be a goal kick for Christine Fanua. Here in the second half, I think we've probably got about 10 minutes remaining. Oh, there was a chance there. There was a ball bouncing around like a steel ball in a 1960s game of bagatelle, creating the opportunity for Geelong to trouble the scorers for the first time this afternoon. But unfortunately came to nothing. But it will be a free kick on the edge of the area. On the right wing, almost at the byline. So this is an interesting spot to have a free kick. This wind will actually almost favour this free kick because it's going to be blowing out towards the players running in an attacking goal. No great surprise as to who's taking the free kick again. It is Fukumaru, one of the two Japanese players in this Geelong side. So here's an opportunity to bring some life to the last 10 minutes of this game. Oh, and it's a good, low, dangerous cross. Could have gone either way. And Heidelberg, I think, will consider themselves a little lucky that it was their leg it bounced off, because that could have gone anywhere. And, we've been singing the praises of Heidelberg United, but it's 7 or 8 minutes. There's going to be at least 5 or 6 minutes of time on. The last thing they need to do is concede a goal here in a game realistically they've dominated, and suddenly think, oh, we've got 15 minutes of back to the wall. So Galaxy getting their shape much better now. and just maybe feeling there's a little bit of a sniff. There's something in the air for them. That was a beautiful run there from Sierra Major, beating the player, and it's opened up on the right. Oh, the big dig at goal, but by Oda again, I think it was, which has fallen Geelong's way. So, well, this wasn't. I didn't see this coming 5 or 10 minutes ago. This was done and dusted, and I'm going out for Japanese tonight. I was thinking about my first bit of sashimi and maybe an asahi, and it turns out there's a lot more to see here as yet. Just a goal here. Oh, you'd be upset as a Heidelberg United supporter. Or the other side is, of course, one on the break for Heidelberg kills the game stone dead. But well done, Geelong, getting their shape back together, lifting. Well, as you pointed out, they never drop their heads. And when I say you, I'm not talking probably to you, viewer. I was talking to Marissa, but you can't see that. But they never drop their heads, and lo and behold, back in the game. But here's an opportunity for Heidelberg United. But that ball just a little bit behind the impressive Sydney Allen. But they've mopped up again here. And moving down that left flank, Eli Torre. So potentially a long drive home back to Geelong this afternoon if they can't capitalise on this momentum they've recently created over the course of the last 5 or 10 minutes. And as we've said all along, they've been good for a goal. I hope they get a... I'm not barracking, per se, but they deserve something out of the game. Otherwise, they're staring at round 3. Another away game, and when does a poor start to the season set the tone for the season? A lot of players think it's 2 or 3 games. It feels so much more to lose 3 games at the start of the season than lose 3 in the middle of the season. For some reason, it feels that's setting the tone for your season. If you've never been here to Olympic Park in Heidelberg, I do encourage you to come down to a game. It's a terrific setup. The pitch is in absolutely wonderful condition. The souvlaki are good. I chose not to have chips in mine. I'm not one for chips in my souvlaki, but it was very good nonetheless. It's a terrific place to come and watch a game of football. You know, we've got the FFA Cup rounds coming up. We've got the National Premier League. We've got the youth leagues. There's lots of reasons to get here too. It's easy to find, ample parking, great facilities. So if you are fighting on the weekend, you feel like a game of football, get yourself down to Heidelberg United. There's far worse places you could be. So the teams take the field again after the last drinks break of the afternoon. Well-deserved drinks break for all of them. See if Geelong can maintain this momentum. If anything, that drinks break maybe came at the wrong time for them. And we see here early possession with Heidelberg United once again. We've spoken about, okay, what this might mean to Geelong. If you were the Heidelberg United coach, Marissa, what are you going to say to the team after this performance?
I'd be full of praise for the girls because I really do think that they've put in an exceptional shift, barring any sort of shenanigans in these final moments, but I don't think that's going to happen. But honestly, considering the conditions, considering the way Geelong started, I think they've put in a really good performance. I feel like they've attacked really well. Oh, and we've got some vision at the moment. Someone's down. Oh, God. Oh! Allen's having a shot which Kensole saves magnificently, but we've got someone down at the moment and she does not look in a good way at all.
That's actually Holly Balderston, and she was nowhere near any other player. She was fully sprinting. I heard the coach call Holly, was encouraging the crossfield ball because Holly was in a lot of space there, and she really put on the afterburners and went down very, very quickly. Though I don't like the look of that at all. Having had sort of three knees myself, all on the right knee. I'm not saying that that's a knee. Well, it's not a knee. It's I think it's a hamstring. But gosh, that looks horrible when a player goes down as if there's a sniper in the stand. So really hoping she's okay. We know she's a tough little firecracker after that knock in the first half. But this doesn't look like what you want to see for any player at this stage. We've got a very concerned supporter just in front of us here wearing the number 58. He's already signalled to the bench the substitution sign. So I wonder whether his advice will be heeded. So there's 4 or 5 players around Holly at the moment. And I think they're looking to have her stretchered. Yeah, the stretcher is coming. Oh, and this is such a shame to see. To see Holly Balderston, who's really been key, not been on the score sheet today, but she's been a major contributor to the overall dominance of Heidelberg United going forward, and you can see real concern amongst her co-workers there who know something's not quite right, and she is on the stretcher. She's sat up. It's a soft tissue injury, and from 80 metres away or whatever we are, we can obviously have no idea what it is. She's sat up, maybe a few of the endorphins kicking in and things, which can often happen a few minutes after that initial injury. But she's sat up, she's chatty, but she'll be taking no further part in today's game. And I'm no doctor. I would suggest it might not just be today she misses out on, but it's an opportunity for the impressive Natasha Rieri, who has come on for this quarter, getting an opportunity to play this sort of last 5 to 10 minutes of the game, and looking very lively. In fact, all of Heidelberg running in, attacking the ball, and there it is. That's 3-0 to Heidelberg United. That's the hat trick. It's just a wonderful header. That's Heidelberg United 3, Geelong Galaxy 0. And just a wonderful head. From where I think it was Garcia, Marissa, yes. So there's her hat trick. And what a confidence booster for her, for the team. As the skipper, to lead from the front after a disappointing result last week, to come out here, score 3, have terrific support being fed by Balderston and Gallia and Torre and Sabre and Sydney Allen. What a team performance, and just desserts for the leader of this team. But credit to Geelong, they're 3-0 down in 36 degrees. With 5 minutes to go, and they still sprinted the ball back to the centre circle. And that's a great positive for a coach, to know that your players are doing that. It would be easy to see if it's an early knockoff, but no, they're here for the duration, and that's why they will win games this season.
I think that's an excellent point, because I think it's safe to say now with that third goal, the game has been killed off. But the way in which Geelong conduct themselves in these final moments will be telling. And Heidelberg on the ball now.
So Rieri just off the bench, fresh legs, helped her there. She's cut it back. And that's Emma Langley, who's just come off the bench. Oh, they've hit the crossbar. Oh, was it the stanchion? And here they come again. Heidelberg really enjoying their day out and looking to maximise it. And what's telling is the depth we're seeing. We've lost Balderston and Gallia, and Rieri and Langley have come on, and they're creating chances themselves. So Rebecca Saber there in the middle. Oh, and that's the first false hands we've seen from either goalkeeper today, really. And that's just from the pressure. Here comes Rieri again. Here's the cross. Oh, and not timed as well, that one by Garcia. That would have been terrific to see. Would that have been her fourth headed goal? It was the third headed goal that would have been. So hasn't she just stood up as an absolute leader this afternoon? Here comes Geelong down the left. There's Lulu again, Al-Hanadi, who herself has been very impressive today. And there's Fukumaru, couldn't quite find a target. It wasn't a bad ball into the box there. One of those, as often as not, there'll be a player there and it becomes a shot on goal. But the sands of time are slowly slipping away for the Geelong Galaxy. And Heidelberg United are having fun with it. Rieri, beats the player. Oh, did the hard work. Did the hard work. What beautiful control. Turned the Geelong defender inside out, created space, just lifted a header, Shane, and almost troubled a Daihatsu Sherrard travelling along the south road there of the ground. So we've got 7 minutes of time on. Obviously, due to that awful injury for Holly Balderston and the numerous drinks breaks. So we're treated to a bonus 13 minutes of football across the two halves with 6 minutes in the first half. What a common sense decision it is. Just have a drinks break and add time on at the end. I can't believe for years we didn't used to do that, and it's just simple common sense. So Galaxy still moving forwards here, looking for a consolation goal. It would be nothing but a consolation goal. I'd love to see Oda pop up here. Once again, though, it's a set play, and who do you think might be taking it? This well, it appears to be for Kamaru. I understand if she's technically very good, but you're 3-0 down. Is it worth letting someone else have a go?
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to change things up a bit, but also I suppose then the argument is if this is your only chance at a goal, why not go with the player who, has been charged with, presiding over the dead ball situation. So a bit of an interesting one there, but yeah, I just really impressed with what Heidelberg has done so far today, and we kind of alluded to it earlier, the even spread of contributors has been nothing short of sensational. We've had players come off who have contributed immensely, and in their place there have been players that have done just as good in much less amount of time. So the evenness of the spread of the contributors from Heidelberg, I think, has been the most impressive part of this win. Everyone has played their role, everyone has done their part, and it's shown in the fact that it's a 3-0 win, and it's been pretty convincing for the most part.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, there's depth And it's so important at any level of competition is depth, because it's a 27-game season. You're going to get injuries, you're going to get suspensions. That being said, we've not seen a yellow card this afternoon. The game has been played in such a good spirit. And here's Riera again with a clever little ball through to the edge of the box. And she's found a way to Sydney Allen, who once again creates an opportunity. But in this case, it's gone begging. So Geelong sticking to their game plan, maintaining possession and playing out from the back, Ange Postecoglou style. He'd be delighted to see this. Just looking for a bit of movement. Imogen Pratt, the left back there. She's had a lot of work to do this afternoon, and she's given a good account of herself. She's another player who's still running, still looking for the ball. And that's I'm just really impressed by that level of tenacity shown by the Geelong Galaxy players across the board. And who do you think? It's Sydney Allen, just controlling the attacking play, finding the substitute Riera, who's put another one through for Sydney Allen. And after an hour and a half in 36 degrees, I don't think I can blame Sydney Allen for thinking I don't think I'll reach that one, so we'll let it go. Because I don't think she could have reached it, but it probably wasn't the ball she was ideally looking for. But I have been happy with Riera's contribution since she came on, particularly where she created the one-on-one with the goalkeeper, which she unfortunately put over the bar. But it's like dropping a catch off your own bowling. Your teammates can't be upset with you because you created the chance. So, but that would have been a nice and a real confidence booster for someone outside the starting 11. Here's a chance, though, and out of nowhere, there's a wonderful through ball, and Lulu Al-Hanadi, the captain of the Geelong Galaxy, has absolutely buried that in the top left corner. You feel for Christine Fanua because she's kept goal beautifully this afternoon, but no more than Geelong Galaxy deserve. Christine would have loved the clean sheet, particularly after conceding last week, but what a really well taken goal by the Geelong Galaxy captain, and that's the reward they get for sticking at their task when the cause is lost. They well deserve that. Got a substitute being made now for Heidelberg United. Marina Kiusis is coming on, and she's occupying a midfield role being vacated by Rebecca Saber, who, as we said, was very controlling, did a great job, particularly in that first half where Geelong were in the ascendancy. But here's Sydney creating a chance for Langley this time. And Sydney Allen has just... I think I compared her to Jan Mulby. I'm changing to Maradona now. The control and the distribution, maybe Carlos Valderrama, but she's been just wonderful this afternoon. And I don't know if you have one, but probably my player of the match at this stage.
I wouldn't be against Sydney Allen as player of the game. I think Galea put in an excellent shift, and also we can't go past the fact that Mel Garcia's literally scored a hat-trick. So, but definitely a Heidelberg player, and not surprising to see that kind of front four are the players that we are suggesting, because they have been absolutely sensational all game.
But Geelong sticking to their task. Yeah, I did sort of forget Garcia's scored 3, 2 with a head. So, yeah, that is reasonably hard to go past. But isn't that the sign of a good team? Where you've got three or four players who've just put in terrific shifts. Rieri there challenging hard and may have just created a little opportunity for Langley here, who gets the cross into Sydney Allen, who turns, beats two, and then has just lost the ball there and tied it up by Geelong, and they'll hold the ball in the middle of the park. Imogen is working hard and going down that left flank again, Imogen Pratt. As Sydney Allen brings it back to Torre, back to Sydney Allen. Here's Rieri again, getting involved in this and wins the possession, but it all comes to naught because there's the final whistle. The final score, Heidelberg United 3 and Geelong Galaxy 1. Final thoughts from Marissa?
I thought it was a really entertaining match, especially considering the conditions, and a really well-deserved 3 points from Heidelberg. I think there are a lot of positives for Geelong that they can take into their game next week, but honestly, a really great match. And come on down to an NPLW game whenever you get the chance, because you will not be disappointed.
Thanks, Marissa, and thank you all for watching and listening. It's Tim Buchanan and Marissa. The sign off here from Heidelberg United. Have a great afternoon and back to work tomorrow, I'm afraid.